Hi, everybody. Welcome back to the podcast. This is Ina Coveney, your host. And today I have a topic that I've been really dying to talk to you guys about for the past few weeks. And I am so excited to finally say this out in the open because I have been watching this like a movie, watching these things happen. And I'm like, I need to tell someone about this. I can't keep this a secret. So here's the deal. The reason you're listening to this is because you're interested in growing your audience, right? Well, I'm going to tell you something that I have been doing ever since I got my coach, February 8th of 2018, right? Ever since I got my coach, ever since I found out about Amy Porterfield and list building back in 2015, it's all about growing the audience, right? But something happened in the last 3 weeks that made me completely flip a switch about using my Facebook personal profile. Now, so I want to tell you the whole story because this is a story that even has some some backlash in there. So if you are the kind of person who says, yes, I want to grow my business, but I'm not really comfortable sharing business stuff on my personal Facebook page. I want to keep my personal Facebook page, my personal Facebook profile as, just with people that I know personally, just my friends and family, coworkers. I really don't want to post business stuff in there. If that's you, if that's how you've been feeling, this is the episode for you. Okay, because I'm going to tell you exactly what my journey was to go from feeling all of that, which was basically like just a month ago, guys. This wasn't like, oh, I was there years ago and I've recovered. No, I felt that way 1 month ago. And now I just finished going live on my personal Facebook profile, completely comfortable to talk about something that I think people want to hear. And I had a ball with it. I am super happy with it. And I'm just as comfortable now going live there as I am here. Now, we're going to dispel a few myths, right? I'm going to walk you through what my limiting beliefs were around the personal Facebook profile. They were not fluffy, like they were real. They were real. Things happened. And I'm going to tell you all of that story. But first, before we get there, so that we can level the playing field here, I wanted to tell you a little of why we need to be building your audience. I promise to be brief because you probably already know all this stuff. But I'm going to tell you why building the audience is important. And I'm also going to tell you what the basics of building an audience are. Because I always knew it, right? It's not like, oh, holy crap, I just realized that I need to build my audience in the past month. I have been building my audience since day one, since February 8th, which is day one. All right. So what changed? What are the things that you need to know? Okay. Why don't we start there? Let's start with why do we feel like we need an audience? So when I started my business back in 2011, I had no idea that I needed to build an audience. I mean, I had contract work. I was making websites, like WordPress sites for small businesses. They didn't even have to be local. Like there were some local restaurants. There's a church in Florida that I still do support for. They were all over the place. But I was continuously getting clients. So it wasn't even a thought in my head that I needed to build an audience. It wasn't a thing, okay? I didn't even think about it. It wasn't something that I needed to do. And I believe in my heart that was a really big mistake, right? And I wish I had known about everything I'm about to tell you back then, back in 2011. I didn't know this. It wasn't even a thought. I was getting clients. I was happy. That was it. Okay, and a lot of you may feel that way. I don't really need social media. I'm getting clients by word of mouth. I'm okay, right? I want to tell you why we need an audience. Building an audience gives you a whole bunch of benefits. Number one, when you are let me actually get into the skin of that person who's like, I don't need social media. I have my one-on-one client. When somebody is looking for your services and they find you and they find your website, and they find you on the yellow pages. I don't know where you advertise, right? Or if it's by word of mouth, somebody recommended you. Guess what? Just because somebody recommended you doesn't mean that they were just going to go with you by default. In some cases, it happens. Like I've been guilty of this, right? Of just getting a recommendation and running with it because it's low-hanging fruit, right? But I have also done this, that somebody recommends somebody and I go and I compare them to other people. I do get other quotes. All right. So one of the things that building an audience does for you is that it is out there for people to see that you have a large following and that you know what you're talking about. When people see that you are an authority in your field, you immediately have a raised profile versus everybody else. So you may be thinking, I'm cool, I'm getting clients by word of mouth, I'm all right, I don't need any of this. You may be thinking that, but you also don't know what kind of business has not even reached you because they compared you to somebody else and somebody else was doing the right things online, right? So you don't know which business you have lost. You just don't know. So building an audience builds your authority in your field. It makes people see that you know what you're talking about. So that's reason number one. That's a huge benefit of it that affects your bottom line, that affects your pocket right now. All right. Number two, you get to actually serve a community, right? This may not be, a big priority for a lot of us who are trying to make money, but when you have a community, you know what you're doing? You're building a backlog of potential clients. And that's something that you don't have when you're working one-on-one, okay? When you're working from just clients by word of mouth. So they might leave you a testimonial. Great. How many people are going to read that? Right? Or they might recommend you to the next person, but how do you know that that's going to happen? Instead, when you build an audience, you have people that you can go and give them deals. People who are warm, people who already know you or who want stuff from you. And you can go and just give them like, hey, I'm doing this special thing this day. I'm doing the special thing on this day. Continue to grow your audience, continue to build your authority, continue to build that list of potential clients. So having an audience, it affects your bottom line right away. And the third thing that it does is it affects your pricing big time. Because if you're doing all the right things online versus somebody else who isn't, if somebody's looking for business, is looking for somebody to perform that service for them, and they get to compare, they are automatically going to believe that your service is going to be the pricier one. Why? Because that's how our brains work. If somebody is popular, they must be more expensive, which means that you get to charge more, which means that you get to be a more discerning business owner and you get to draw in a more discerning crowd, which is willing to pay more for your services. So building an audience is not just fluff. It affects your bottom line directly. You can charge more. You have a list of potential clients that you can tap into, and you can serve a community. So all of these things are super important if you're starting a business. And I wish somebody had told me this on my first day of business back in 2011. I didn't know this was a thing. I didn't know that I had to do this. So I didn't. And I believe that was all wasted time. So that's why we need an audience. Number two, what are the basics? What did I know going in? On February 8th, what did I know about building an audience? Well, I knew that it was about providing content, right? So it was about putting out videos, putting out blog posts, putting out lives, all of this stuff, providing good stuff that people want to consume. Number two, doing it consistently. Okay? It's like I was telling one of my clients the other day. It doesn't matter that you just wrote the most epic blog post in the world, right? If it goes on somebody's Facebook feed for a second, and then the next second, once they refresh, they have 10 more things to read, right? Not from you, but from other people. So you may be thinking, I wrote an epic blog post 2 weeks ago. That may hold them over for 2 weeks. No, that held them over for about 5 minutes until they refresh their screen. So if you are consistent, you will continue to show up on their Facebook feed, on their Instagram feed, on whatever it is, right? Wherever people are finding you. If you keep showing up consistently, it makes them think about you. It makes them go, there must be something up with this. There must be something to this that I need to pay attention to. So consistency is huge. So creating content, making it consistent, all right? And the other thing is about list building, right? Put a freebie together. Put some kind of content. It could be an e-guide. It could be a special 3-part video, whatever it is. But put it behind a sign-up form so you can start creating a mailing list that you can nurture, right? And you can email with regularity. The way that I use my list, to tell you guys the truth, is I like emailing it with my thoughts, right? And it's not just like thoughts, just like rambling thoughts. It's stuff that I find that is helpful or useful to my audience, but it's the people that I feel close to the most, right? Because I'm getting to their inbox, right? They're opening their email, and next to their email from their mom is an email from me. So, and I don't take that lightly. So I really treat them like they're my best friends. That's how I treat my list. So these are all the basics for audience building, right? Create content, be consistent, and nurture a mailing list. These are the things you need to know. I knew all of this already, okay? So it wasn't like it was a huge realization that I needed to do these things 3 months ago. I've been doing this since February 8th, since the day that I hired my first coach, because that was really the first day of my business. Like really, the day that I was serious about my business is the day that I hired myself a coach, period. And that's actually what I talked about in my Facebook personal page, like right before this live. So those are the things that I wanted to cover to kind of level the playing field, right? That's why we need an audience. And these are 3 key things that you need to be doing to actually build your audience. Now, let me tell you the story that I've been wanting to tell you for the past few weeks. Now, let me tell you something. This whole situation with the personal Facebook profile has been on my mind a lot, because on day 1 of meeting with my coach, she told me, you should start using your personal Facebook profile for business. And I said, not comfortable with that. Sorry, let's do something else. I'll just drive traffic to my Facebook group. And she's like, all right, just saying. I'm like, okay. Then, my Facebook group was growing and I was excited about it. Now, it has been almost a year. By November 8th, it had been about, 10 months or so? 10 months since I had started my business. And this Facebook group had 145 people in it. Now, if you look at that number and you see how long I had been working on it, right? And I wasn't just like doing the things I just told you. I was going way beyond. I was doing 5-day challenges. I was doing webinars. I was doing all of these things to build my list and to build the clientele, the future clientele in this group, to build the membership of this group, that you would think 145 people, like, you must be doing something wrong, right? And I was thinking that. I'm like, why is my group not growing any faster? I feel like I'm doing all the right things. So people kept telling me, and people, I mean like coaches, right? Because since then I have invested in other programs. I've been talking to other people who have actually made it, right? People who are in the 7-figure mark. And they've been telling me like, you should really do the whole Facebook personal profile thing. And I'm like, So all this year, I decided, okay, I'm going to try it. Okay. So I would post something that was business related on my profile. And the response was not good, guys. The response was not good. There were times when I would post something to kind of like ask people like what they wanted. And people who were very supportive of me, right? My family and friends who were very supportive, who wanted to be there for me, they would totally miss the point, right? I would post a whole thing about something being very vulnerable, right? And related to my business. And my family and friends would message me privately and say, are you okay? Right? Rather than getting like, no, it's a business post, right? It's one of the vulnerable business posts, so you guys can relate and you guys can buy my services, but I know that you guys are not going to buy my services. So it was very confusing for them, and it was a very confusing time for me, because I'm like, what am I doing this for? My family and friends, they just want to make sure that I'm okay. They don't want to buy my stuff. And I even got, and I have it right here, I wanted to show you this because it was priceless. So one day, I posted something like, I was doing a 5-day challenge, or I was doing a webinar, and I posted it on my personal Facebook profile because I realized at that point I had given up on trying to attract my audience there. There were times I had to delete my business post altogether because the response was just not good, guys. It was just not good. I would have to delete it because everybody just missed the point, right? I was not getting anything out of it. One time I posted 5-day challenge and I made it public. So the reason I was doing that was not to attract my 1,000 friends that I had on Facebook. It was because if people saw me in other Facebook groups and they clicked on my name, I wanted them to see public posts, right? I thought that was important for me to have a public view of my personal profile that would say what I do. So I would post it publicly. And this is what I got from somebody. So I have it right here, but actually I don't know why I can't access more of this conversation. I can only see from the point where I responded to him. So he wrote to me something like, you're not gonna be doing that a lot, are you? Right? And I freaked out because that's my biggest fear, My biggest fear is that my family and friends are going to think that I'm icky and salesy and that I'm trying to sell them something. And I'm like, no, I don't. No, this is not for you. So I freaked out and I responded to him. I said, hi, so-and-so. To answer your question, I only post a couple of things on my personal page so that they appear on my public profile for people who look me up. I wish there was a setting for public except friends, right? Like privacy settings, like I want to post this publicly, but I don't want my friends to see it. That's not a thing. If you post something publicly on Facebook, it's public to everyone. So I said, I wish there was a setting for public except friends, so you didn't have to see it. That's what I responded, legit. And his response was, just checking, no offense, but I get enough ads on Facebook. If it's a once in a while thing, that's cool, no worries. And I replied, yeah, just ignore them. They're not for you. Hope you have a good long weekend. And he said, you too. So here's the deal, guys. As a business owner, I shouldn't have even responded to this. I should have been like this is my business, right? And secondly, don't tell people what to post on their Facebook. Facebook is a free tool. I can use it any way I want. There is an unfriend button right there. Right? Guys, don't be that guy. Don't tell people what to post and not to post. People are going to do whatever they want to do with their own page. If you don't like it, unfriend, unfollow, stop it. Stop looking at it. You can hide notifications from those people. Don't do it, okay? Don't be that guy, okay? I was actually appalled that somebody's telling me, like somebody's trying to curate my feed, right? I can do whatever I want with my feed. Okay, first of all. So, but after that exchange, I was like, yep, I definitely made the right call. I am not going to be using my personal profile for business. And I'm going to tell people to not do it either. I'm going to tell people there's two schools of thought and I keep them separate and you can do whatever you want. Okay? And then, you guys want to know what changed? I'm about to tell you what changed. So back in November 7th, I went to a Tony Robbins event. If you really want to hear everything that went on at the Tony Robbins Unleash the Power Within event, go to inacoveney.com/CT29. CT stands for Corporate Trailblazers. 29 is the podcast episode number, and you can actually see the video, the YouTube video that I recorded for it at that address, or in this podcast you can just go to episode 29 and listen to it. It was epic. It was amazing. So I went to that event, and because I had my Facebook settings, my Facebook friending settings set to only friends of friends can ask me for a friend request, it so happened that I would meet new people at this event, for example, and they couldn't friend me. And if they had the same setting, I couldn't friend them either. So you legit can't friend strangers if you have that setting on. So I said to myself, okay, I am going to, for this weekend only, I'm going to open it up to anybody can friend me. All right? Now, at the time, there were a couple things that happened here. That's not all I did. All right? So I opened it so anybody can friend me. Second thing, because I was going to this event, I was a member of the Facebook group for people going to the event, which had about 3,000 people. And this is a group of people who are very warm and very open, very friendly. They like to make connections, right? So I would go in that group and I would post things. I posted a funny video and I posted a question and I posted this and I posted that. So my posts were getting a lot of visibility in other Facebook groups. So now when people hovered over my name, they said add friend. So I was getting add friends from people I had never met before. And at first I was like, well, I guess it's okay because they are from UPW, right? We're all kind of in the same wavelength. It's not spam. Let's just do it. So I started accepting the requests. Then when I got back, I had accepted so many friend requests that I was like, well, what if people still want to friend me through the UPW group or through the other programs that I'm joining? They want to be my friends too. I'm like, okay, I'm going to leave it open for a little bit and see what happens. So I basically started accepting every friend request that came my way. And first of all, there's two things. With that, two things happened. Number one, and I'm going to get in a little deeper on both. Number one is I started to act differently on my Facebook profile. Let me tell you what happened there in a second. The second thing that happened is that because I wasn't curating the people who were asking me for a request, I was friending everybody. I ended up with 400 new friends in a matter of 7 days, most of which were spam. They were spam. They were people that were calling me on Facebook. Like I would say, okay, accept friend request, and I would get a phone call, like on the Facebook app, which I never accepted. Or I was getting people saying like, hi, sexy. Like people wanting to like have sex conversations on Facebook. I'm like, well, this is not cool. So I realized that there's actually a lot of men out there who use women's profile pictures, like sexy profile pictures, to have sex conversations on Facebook. Like that's how they do it. They friend people and see like, okay, who's amenable to this? And they just do it that way. So I was actually friending a lot of these people. Okay, so I'll get to point number 1 in a second. Let me just address this right now. When you open the floodgates, you will get a lot of spam, but you only get 5,000 spots for friendships on Facebook. I don't know if you knew this already, but you only get 5,000 friends. Facebook doesn't allow you to go beyond that because Facebook is smart. Facebook doesn't want you to treat your personal profile for business, right? They want you to use it as friends. And it's unrealistic that somebody would have more than 5,000 friends, right? Maybe they will raise it later on because as Facebook gains longevity, you will get to meet a lot more people in your life. But right now the cap is 5,000. So what I did was, okay, I took those 400 friends and I actually went through every single one of them. I looked at their profile picture. I looked at, how long they'd been on Facebook. I looked at where they lived. I looked at all these things. And I just started unfriending people that were not my likely potential clients. All right. And I have a demographic in mind because I've done my study of my avatar of who my ideal client is. So I studied them and I said, all of you, and it was like 2/3 of them, unfriend, goodbye. And from then on, I started to be a little more choosier about who I accept. Here's the second thing that I wanted to tell you, which is how my mindset shifted on how I use my personal profile, right? Remember at first I was super scared of appealing to my family and friends. And now all of a sudden I am okay with posting. This is what happened. Because now I had hundreds of new people in my personal page, in my personal profile. I actually had a completely different audience to speak to. And I realized it just kind of flipped like a switch with a brand new audience who just friended me. They want to know who I am and what I do. And that is a great way to start at the top of the funnel. So to give you guys an idea for what the funnel should look like, at the top of your funnel, you have everybody who makes a minimal commitment to consume your content, to follow you, right? These are people who follow you on Instagram. Following on Instagram costs nothing, and I don't mean money. I mean anybody will follow anybody on Instagram, especially for a follow back, all right? So following on Instagram, that's the top of your funnel right there, okay? The second thing is people on your Facebook professional page. Although because of the Facebook algorithm, those posts usually don't go anywhere. Not a lot of people see them at all. Okay, so I usually post on my professional Facebook page only so that if somebody finds it, they see good content. That's really all. I don't expect people to actually see it real time. And the other thing is your Facebook profile, your personal Facebook profile. Apparently, people are very, very happy to friend you. And I didn't realize this. I didn't know that friending on Facebook was akin to following on Instagram. Following on Instagram is so easy. People just follow. People just want to follow. I didn't realize that it was the same on Facebook friending. So I have been driving my traffic to my Facebook group, and people are very reluctant to joining a community because it requires a commitment. It requires them identifying themselves with your brand and saying, yes, I want to be a part of that community. That's way too big a commitment. But friending someone apparently is the thing to do. People are very friend happy. So as soon as I opened the floodgates, I was getting a lot of friend requests, and I still do. Just sitting here, I have received 7 friend requests just now. So at this point, I'm getting about 100 requests a day. That's what's happening when I put out content, when people start following, when people start, the first thing they want to do is to friend you. I didn't know that because I never allowed people to friend me. I suggest that if you're looking to grow your business and you're looking to grow your audience, you don't undermine the power of people wanting to friend you on Facebook. That is just like people wanting to follow you on Instagram. So if you're on Instagram, you should be on Facebook personal profile, allowing people to friend you. So once I opened the floodgates, I had a whole new audience. Now I wasn't afraid anymore of what my mother-in-law was going to say, or what my mother was going to say, or what my former co-workers were going to say, because now I had a new goal to get all of those new people that just started to get to know me into my Facebook group. So that's what you do on your personal page. You sometimes post things like, hey, so where are people coming from, right? What do you do? And reply to them, engage with them, and invite them. Hey, did you know that I have a Facebook group where I post a lot more things than here? Just go here and join it. So as soon as the floodgates opened, I started to get a lot more people wanting to actually join the group. And if I had started doing this from the beginning, I would have grown my Facebook group a lot faster. So to go back to being afraid of what others will think, I think the reason I felt afraid and the reason you may feel afraid is because you know this, that your audience is not in your current Facebook friends. You know this. You know that you're not going to appeal to them. You know they're not going to buy anything from you. So why would you post there? So as soon as you start allowing a different kind of people in, you start to feel a sense of duty, right? You don't just want to post your funny conversation that you had with your husband yesterday, which I do a lot, right? You want to serve those people. You want to be like, well, they liked me for a reason because they saw me on that post on that group, or they saw me on this other post, or they listened to that podcast. Or they want to friend me and see what's up. Okay, then I'm going to guide them. I'm going to tell them where to go. So for that, you need to post on your personal page. So now it flipped a switch. I am completely comfortable going there because I know exactly what my goal is. My goal is, hey, all of you 1,000 people that I've made friends with in the past 3 weeks, I want you guys to come and join my Facebook group. So I'm just going to continue to do that. And the group has been growing. So that's the wisdom that I wanted to impart into you. This doesn't mean that tomorrow you're going to flip a switch, right? It doesn't mean that tomorrow you're going to go and say, I think I'm going to do this. I think I'm going to post on my personal page. But I wanted to at least plant the seed. I want you to know, at least in your mind, rationally, that this is how it works and this is how people can grow their audience much faster. So that's what I've just started doing 3 weeks ago, and we'll see where I am, 6 months from now. And I'm sure we'll revisit this. Another thing that I wanted to tell you is to be very mindful. This is one of the first things that I did once I realized that people were flooding into my personal page. One of the first things I did, it was to change my cover picture. Okay? My profile picture was already good. It was already just a good picture of me. But I updated my cover picture because I want you to optimize it for these 2 things. Number 1, how does it look on mobile? So go to your own profile on Facebook in your phone and make sure that people can see your logo, that people can see your, what you do, what you want them to do, what the name of your community is, because it looks very different in mobile. On desktop, you see the profile picture on the left. In mobile, the profile picture is in the center. So it's actually very hard to make it look good in both desktop and mobile, but that's what I did. I went and I created a new image that said exactly what I do. Another thing you want to optimize for is for people hovering over your name. Okay? When people hover over your name on Facebook, they see your cover picture. Okay? So your cover picture should clearly tell people what you do. So I set it up right there. I put a good picture of me. I said, the corporate Trailblazers, join the group. And if people click on the cover image, it will show the description, hey, join the group here. That's where the link goes. And also, when you hover over it, it says right there, business coach and WordPress expert. So if anybody's looking for WordPress help, they know that I'm there for them. And I get a lot of questions that way. So I hope all of this was helpful. I hope this gives you an introduction to how to start using your personal profile. All right. And all those fears, I'm telling you because it happened with me, all your fears about what people are going to say go away as soon as you have a new audience to speak to. They just go away. So one thing that I was actually really excited to share with you, now that I've told you everything I know, everything that I learned the past 3 weeks about audience building that I kind of knew but didn't know how to put into action all year, and now I do. Now that I've given you all of that, I want to tell you something super exciting that I'm doing. For the month, actually not even for the whole month, until December 18th, and I'm only doing that because I'm leaving for Chile December 19th, so I won't be around the last 2 weeks of the year. But from now until December 18th, I am going to reserve a few spots on my calendar to talk to a few lucky people, because I want to show you what my salary replacement system is. Okay, and I want to sit down with you. It would be over a Zoom call. It would be over a video call. I want to sit down with you so we can see each other's faces. And I want you to tell me what is it that you want to do. And we're going to create your salary replacement plan. All right, month 1, month 2, month 3, month 4, month 5, month 6. Okay, we're going to create it based on your idea, based on what you want to do. We're going to sit down so that you can see that it is possible for you to replace your salary in just a few months doing this part-time, all right? And get you ready for your next steps, all right? So if you want to take me up on that conversation, it's one of those things that somebody said this to me one time that I was offering them something for free. This was somebody who gave me their time in sort of like a market research kind of interview, right? She gave me her time. She was very generous. She gave me 45 minutes. And at the end, she gave me so much great information that I told her, hey, since you gave me 45 minutes of your time, I want to give you back 45 minutes of website help, of WordPress help. So if you ever need help, if you're ever stuck, I'll help you. 45 minutes for free. At first, she was hesitant because she's like, no, I feel like you should charge for that kind of service, which is true. I should charge for every service that I give because it's worth it. But she said, but you know what? I will take the abundance that the universe is throwing at me, and I'm going to take you up on that. So, and I thought that was a beautiful way to put it. I'm like, yeah, take the abundance, right? Don't say no. Just take it. When somebody's offering you something for free, just take it, right? The universe is trying to tell you something. Or, whatever you believe in, insert, whatever you believe in for universe. I just love the word universe. But yeah, so I want to sit down with you and create this 6-month plan so you guys can see that it is possible. And I'm going to tell you how to do it with an online business. So come prepared with your idea and let's craft it. Month 1 to month 6. All right. And for that, to book your appointment for that, it would be at inacoveney.com/I want out. Okay. Meaning like you want out of your current job. You want out of the shackles. You want the freedom. You want to really be your own boss and to make this happen. And the next 6 months are for you. So come and join me, inacoveney.com/I want out. Book your spot and we will talk about it. Okay, you just have to make sure to spell Coveney right. Okay, Coveney ends in EY. inacoveney.com/I want out. Go book your appointment today. I'm booking appointments from now until December 18th to show you how to replace your salary, specifically your salary, in the next 6 months with your online business idea. And if you don't have an idea or you don't know what to do, come and we'll shoot the breeze. I can tell you which ideas would be more low-hanging fruit. I can give you some advice on where you can start, even if you want to end up someplace else. We'll see where we go from there. So I will see you there, inacoveney.com/I want out. And with that, I am going to close out this episode. But this has been super fun. I've been dying to tell you all of this and all the funny stuff that has been happening online. I'm telling you, the internet is a weird world, guys. It is a weird world. Okay. It was so nice to chat with you. Thank you guys so much for listening to this whole thing. And I will see you at your appointment. inacoveney.com/I want out through December 18th. So don't miss it. All right. Have a wonderful rest of your week, guys. I will see you soon. Bye.